It's okay, we'll edit that out.
Huh? Huh? I need cotton. Let's take a moment.
That's amazing. Top cap there. Yep. Okay folks, so here's the top cap of the DRZ 400 forks. People kind of wonder what these two screws do, especially this top one right here. This top one is nothing more than an air bleeder, so it just bleeds out air pressure. In the olden days, they used to have shocks that you would actually pressurize with air. They would constantly leak, had lots of problems with them. So they changed the design to where it's an airless system, and so after a while of riding pretty hard, you can actually stop your bike, and then you can actually take a screwdriver and loosen that. So you go counterclockwise, let the air out, and then just simply screw it back down, and that kind of restores the natural hydrodynamics inside the fork tube. And then this top screw right here is the rebound adjustment. You've got hard and soft. So remember, on rebound, counterclockwise goes softer, clockwise goes harder. If I flip the fork over, you can see on the bottom here now, this is the adjustment for compression. Okay, this part's all going to come out as we take it all apart, but that large screwdriver slot right there is to adjust for compression. As you go clockwise, makes the compression stiffer, counterclockwise makes it softer. So we're going to go ahead and take these things apart here in just a few minutes and inspect them and see how she looks. Okay, so we're going to start taking these forks apart. Going to take this top cap off. We loosened it while it was on the bike. And this fork tube is going to slide right down inside like that. There's the fork spring. There's a rod there. We're going to take this cap off and allow us to get off the spring. So you're going to lock that lock nut there, and you're just going to, maybe I loosened it, let's see. It's kind of hard to hold everything together. Oops, I slipped off there. Okay, so here's the top cap. That's a rebound adjuster. Set everything in order. There's your fork oil. Gooey. That looks gooey. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go drain the fork oil out. Got a spot over here for that.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Les. Thanks, Fatso.
How's that fluid look? Oh, it's really old. Lots of particles in there. Kind of gray color, and I'm kind of just going back and forth. Really stiff fork oil, much stiffer than usual. That's probably like a 20 weight, where normally, you know, maximum's like 15 to make it really stiff. So we're going to check on that. Here's the rebound rod. Goes right there. And then what you have to do to get this bottom part off right here, there's ways you can do it with, if I have my special tools here. See if I've got one that fits inside here. If not, an impact wrench takes that off really nicely. I've got several different ones. We'll see if I have one that will fit it. Okay, that, my friends, is the compression base valve right here. And get my socket off. It's hard to see if I get the right picture here. Oil gets forced through the top here, pushes down against these shims right there. And so we're going to check each one of those shims, see what size it is, and you can change the thickness, the diameters of them to change the low speed and the high speed compression dampening. So this is really encouraging that we can go ahead and change those and change the way the forks move, make them more plush and funner to ride. So the one thing is this fork oil is a lot stiffer than what I normally see. That could make it really harsh, so we're going to play with that fork oil thickness too, the weight of the fork oil. So basically we've got that, all this stuff right here. This is the cartridge assembly. That comes out. Kind of look and see what that looks like. This is where all the dampening happens, is inside of here and in that base valve. We don't need to take this apart, but you can change the valving inside of the mid valve, which is this center section in here as well, depending on what you want to do. The rest of this is really pretty easy, but we got gooage. You basically just pry the dust cap up. This is what is known as the dust cap. Stays stuck in there for good. And all this does is just keeps the dust out of the seal area. So this is not responsible for keeping oil in the fork. That's just the dust seal. That comes off. And inside here, there's a little clip right in here. Probably hard to see. But you take your little screwdriver, pop that little clip out like this. Now, it's just a matter of separating this whole assembly. You just kind of crack it. Want to do this, Tai-Tai?
It's almost like you've done this before.
And here is the oil seal. Okay, we'll put that there. It looks pretty clean. This is a little spacer ring that protects underneath the seal. Then you have right here what is known as your bushings. And looking at them, they actually look really good. I don't know when he took these forks apart, but there's no wear hardly at all on them, so that looks good. Now this one is very worn though. I'm going to show you guys how you know. People think you look at the outside of this to determine wear, and that is important, but this actually moves on that slider just a little bit. So if you look inside, you'll see a ring of sort of lighter colored metal, and then on the outside edges you'll see this copper color. If that ring that you see in there that's been worn is wider than 1/3 of the width of this bearing, it needs to be replaced. If it's less than that, then you just reuse it. But these need to be replaced because it's, gosh, 3/4 or more of the width of this whole bearing surface has been worn. So we're going to go ahead and replace those while we're in there, and when you do that, you may as well replace the other ones while you're at it. So there you go. There's how to take it apart and put it back together in the reverse order. But right here, my friends, that's the shim stack. This is what you change to change how that front fork works. And so we're going to take that apart. I'm going to evaluate what shim stack is in there and what changes we can make, if any, to make it more compliant and yet handle the kind of workload that Mr. EveRide is going to put on it. So anyway, that's kind of the process, folks, and we'll clean her all up and get a few things, and then put her all back together, revalved.